Hello, my name is Monica. Today I want to talk to you about why I became a life coach. So, the reason why I became a life coach is actually it's not that far from what I was already doing. Um, I teach elementary school and I also teach music lessons privately to children and to anyone who is willing. So it wasn't until I started giving music lessons privately was where I started to notice how sometimes giving a music lesson is actually giving a life lesson. Most of the time, there would be a person that would come to me that had this lifelong dream of learning how to play a certain instrument or learn how to sing, or they wanted to get on one of those singing shows and they wanted to prepare or they wanted to change their voice or they have been through other teachers telling them, oh well, you're not doing this right, or they've dealt with criticism, or even worse, in my opinion, the self-criticism. And what I started to realize over that time giving those kinds of lessons, it was also giving people those tools and permission to be able to give yourself that grace to grow and to love yourself along the way and not to fall for the self doubt to the point where it prevents you from being all that you can be. And I've, over the years, and this includes myself, over the years where I've wanted to try new things, I've wanted to expand on things in my personal life, and I would tell myself, oh, I don't think that's going to happen, or, that's not something I can imagine myself doing, even though it would be wonderful if it did. But in the last few years, I've come across some great insights for myself. And I know I'm tired of putting a lid on my potential and just going for it. On some levels, I already had that in a lot of different ways. And like I said, I actually came into teaching music lessons by accident too. I'm a singer songwriter and performer and composer. And it was also, a lot of performers are what I call middle class musicians. We also teach too. We perform and we teach. And so I kind of stumbled into that through a other performer friend who she was teaching and she was doing very well. And she ended up giving me some of her students and it went from there. That was about 10 years ago. And like I said, through the years, I've started to notice, certain things that would happen more and more with people who would come to me. Those times of the year, first of the year, New Year's resolutions, where I want to learn a new instrument, new me, new year, new me, kind of mentality. When really, you can change anytime you want, and like I said, sometimes it takes certain insights to get into that. If you are not sure how to start or where to start, sometimes we need a coach. Sometimes we need that accountability. Just like a music instrument teacher, that is the accountability. And that's why some people would come to me because they wanted that accountability. They wanted, yes, you can pick up the guitar or the ukulele or the flute. And yeah, you can teach yourself, but if you go to someone once a week, you are accountable for doing what it needs to be done to improve yourself in that skill. And so I I'm thankful that life coaching has become much more accessible to people, and I think there is a person for everybody. So even if you are not some rich white um, upper middle class person, you can still benefit from life coaching. Um, I'm getting ready for a session in a couple of days with artists, performers, creatives, um, where I am teaching them how to get out of their own way, not to be their own worst enemy and critic. There's going to be plenty of those in their career, in their life. And it's up to each one of us to take on the responsibility of our own value. And I think that's also where we get a little tripped up in all of this, in whatever it is we do for our job, in relationships with others, and for ourselves, that we ignore loving ourselves and not mistreating ourselves. You know, sometimes we do things, um, that negative self talk, we downplay our wants and desires, a lot of things that we do. And so that's why I want and am now opening up my services to everyday people or whomever, who have a desire to upgrade their life, as they're calling it now, leveling up. Um, I'm also going through that process, so it's not like I'm anyone's pinnacle or this high, platformed person. I struggle with things, and I have, some insights I'm willing to share and working on embodying in myself. So that's where I am. And I believe I have much to give others while at the same time still nourishing myself. And that's why I am now a life coach. So hopefully you take this and think on what it is that you want to level up in your life. Take care.